Welcome to CalRTA's short tutorials. My name is Sue Breyer, and today I'll be taking you through newsletter tips number 1. This video is the first in a 3-part series designed for both new and veteran newsletter editors. This video will cover the front page of the newsletter, the nameplate, also on the front page, the inside layout options, and the content. When a division member assumes the role of newsletter editor for their division, one of the first things they ask themselves is, where do I begin? As you can see from this illustration here, newsletters incorporate a number of different designs and layouts. A good idea is to look at the wide variety of newsletters from other divisions to see their unique styles and their personality. These newsletters can be accessed easily on most CalRTA Division websites under the newsletter heading. A key component of your division newsletter is what we call the nameplate. This is a reference to the banner that you can see at the top of each newsletter on the front page. This nameplate identifies and personalizes your division and often reflects the title of your division newsletter. Now, although you can see here each of these is different in its appearance, yet they all have some elements in common. First of all, you will notice that the CalRTA name or logo is prevalent on each of these banners. In addition to the date of the publication, sometimes the volume and number of the edition, and contact information for that particular division. Now, taking a look at the top one here, Mountain Echoes, you can see that a photo over here on the right is a clear reflection of the title of the newsletter. In our second example here, we have a small piece of clip art here that is also a reflection of the title, Thule Tales, and the area that is represented. So each of these banners is unique, yet they all have a number of elements in common. Here are 3 more examples of nameplates from some of our local divisions. As you can see at the top, the Buttes incorporates an image behind it and superimposes the title over top the photo. It includes the CalRTA logo, and in this case, adds the mission statement right below. The Redwood Bark incorporates clip art on each side, these trees obviously reflecting the title of this newsletter. They also include their division number and the area that is represented. Down here, the Lemon Twist uses color to represent its title and includes the volume, the issue number, the date, and even the name of the newsletter editor. So all of these are different, but as you can see, they all reflect CalRTA in their own separate way. Now, despite their different formats and appearance, division newsletters have much in common. Now, here are 12 items which we could consider standard fare in most division newsletters. But please note that all 12 of these items need not be included in every newsletter that you write. What you will find, however, are the following. Clearly, the President's Message is one of the most important columns in a newsletter. This President's Message is oftentimes found on the front page, but other divisions include it very obviously on the inside. Contact information for the division, including an address, perhaps a phone number contact, and even an email address, are also very important. A list of board members and their positions is helpful, especially to new members. A full or shortened financial report and board minutes are often included as well. Sometimes a link to these documents is included in place of the actual report. A list of new members is also fun to read, and it indicates the success in recruitment on behalf of the division. CalRTA logos, mission statement, statement of purpose, those should be sprinkled throughout the newsletter. Some divisions will advertise scholarships and grants, either statewide scholarships or division and local grants. A membership application or a link to membership applications on the CalRTA website are also found in many, many newsletters. Obviously, information about upcoming meetings, including, if it's virtual, a Zoom link to that meeting or some form of registration. Some divisions are collecting their volunteer hours and make them a key part of their division newsletter. And of course, a tribute to those division members who have passed. Those tributes are often found in the newsletters as well. Now, including the nameplate, the front page of a newsletter typically reflects one of two different design philosophies. Now, some divisions will include a high-interest article or two on their front page, perhaps about an upcoming guest speaker or a key announcement from CalRTA. Other divisions, however, include the president's message front and center. Their layouts, too, oftentimes include a table of contents and even contact information for their division. It's helpful to a newsletter editor to collaborate with their president or with other board members to seek input on the content of the newsletter. These two front pages here both include their president's message, as you can see, but that's where the similarities end. The one on the left includes a large image that immediately draws the reader to the content on the page and includes a footer at the bottom of the page that is also found at the bottom of each page on the inside. Now, the front page on the right uses most of its space, 2 full columns, for its president's message, which, as you can see right here, continues on to an inside page. But this one also provides a table of contents on the right-hand side and contact information for its division. One of the toughest jobs for the newsletter editor is figuring out what to write about in each of their publications. And although this is not by any stretch of the imagination an exhaustive list of topics, perhaps it will trigger some ideas for you in your own newsletter. But to give you a hint as to what to write in your newsletter, keep in mind the acronym ACT, A-C-T. The A stands for advocacy, and this could be CalRTA's state and local advocacy efforts. The C stands for community. Write about your local community events and activities in addition to state and national news. The T stands for teachers and, of course, those in the classroom as well as those who have retired. Here are some of the more important topics to write about. I've listed them here at the beginning of the list. Now, people love to read biographies. These biographies could be about key division members, perhaps those who have reached the age of 90 or older. Biographies of guest speakers who plan to speak at an upcoming membership meeting. Information about government relations and legislative updates. Membership updates or news from the Communications and Technology Committee. Other topics that you can write about, of course, are insurance. It may be health news, especially in this time of the COVID pandemic. Upcoming webinars and tutorials sponsored by CalRTA. Fundraisers and community projects that your division is planning to take part in. Field trips and excursions, travel information, hobbies, and even book reviews. So keep these topics in mind, and perhaps they can be of help to you when putting together your next newsletter. Now let's talk about some of the page layouts on the inside. Now, as you can see, page layouts are different from division to division and often depend on the program used by the newsletter editor to create and produce their newsletter. Now, popular formats include a 2-column layout, as you can see on the left, and the horizontal layout, as illustrated on the right, or actually a combination of the two. Now, on the left, this is the 2-column layout that I just spoke of, and you can see that this particular newsletter editor has divided up these 2 columns into small boxes of information. The editor has included bold headlines that catch your eye, and the content on the page reflects the luncheon calendar of upcoming luncheon events for this division. Now, the right-hand side has this horizontal format with text running from margin to margin. It has a lot of white space, as you can see, especially down here at the bottom, but it does incorporate a little splash of color with these blue headlines and the gold stars. Here are 2 more examples of inside layouts from some of our division newsletters. On the left, you can see is a combination of the 2-column format as well as the horizontal format. Over on the right, this one is fairly true to that horizontal format, as you can see up at the top, and of course the large image that goes from margin to margin here. But notice up here in these boxes that the text does not go straight across the page, but is divided in the middle to break up the information. Now, some editors choose to use boxes like this to separate the content that they have on the page. This can allow the reader to scan the content very, very quickly and get a gist of the information that is presented in each of these content boxes. So each of these reflects, as I said before, the personality of the editor and the personality of the division. In these final 2 examples of the inside of division newsletters, you can see 2 very, very different formats. The one on the left, of course, incorporates consistently this horizontal formatting with the text running from margin to margin. But what we are drawn to, of course, are these 3 boxes down here at the bottom. This breaks up that horizontal formatting, draws our attention to the boxes and the important snippet of information in each one. On the right, we see a page unified by its consistent use of color, this gold color, and its open format. Notice that this editor uses no lines and no boxes, but ties all of the information together with its gold headlines, as you can see here, and its gold outline. Thank you so much for viewing this short tutorial, and please check out our next 2 tutorials, newsletter tips 2 and 3, which will cover the use of color in newsletters, images, clip art, hyperlinks, and QR codes. Hope to see you then. Bye-bye.